Hey guys, it's Rachel at From Moments to Milestones, and we're going to put together our newest paper pad card kit. We use the Echo Park 6x6 Christmas Time Mega paper pad to create these cards. So we're going to make these 7 cards in our kit, and I'll briefly go through them. Have yourself a merry latte Christmas, peace and joy, Christmas greetings, 'tis the season, may your days be merry and bright, let heaven and nature sing, good tidings and cheer. So those are the 7 cards we're going to make. If you purchase a kit, you'll get these written instructions with a picture of each card with a list of supplies we use to make the kit. And so we'll go ahead and jump in with this first card, and I will have a disclaimer. We have construction going on next door, and they are literally working on the other side of my wall. So you're probably going to hear there's pounding. I'm not sure what they're doing, but I apologize for that. But we'll go ahead and move forward here. So we will start. Let's assemble our 2 mugs here. So I used foam squares on those. So I'm going to pop up that, like the front piece of it on each one. And I think I'll use 4. All right, and we're just going to line it up on top of the solid mug. All right, so there's the 2 mugs. And then I think we just need to put, we have this poinsettia here, and you should have a very small square of gold, and we're going to put that behind the poinsettia so that you can see that gold through the holes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I've already put the berries on your greenery, so we are going to add the cream to the cup. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the cream and just slide it in like so. And do that with the other. I'm still not crazy about the way that landed on there. I don't know. I'm going to try it one more time. There, that looks better. All right, so we have our cream in each mug. And now we're ready to assemble the cards. So I'm going to glue down this plaid to the card base. So put that on the left side, like so. And then we're going to layer up our 2 coffee mugs. The one with the sentiment, obviously, you're going to want in the front. And because these are popped up, I'm going to need to put some foam on this right side of this mug so that it's even. And then this one I'm going to glue straight down. So let me get them kind of where I want them. Let's see. Like that. Okay, and then this one I'm going to put a little bit of wet glue on this side because it's going to stick to that one. Pull off the foam. And so right on top. All right. And then you should have these 2 dark green greenery pieces. One's going to tuck in there. So let's tuck that other one. I'm going to do the pines first because they're kind of behind. Make sure it stays on the card. There we go. And then this piece here is going to just tucked right back there. And I'm not going to put any glue on the berries because if I remember right, I may have popped them up. You don't have to, but I may do that. So that is in there. And then you have these two holly leaves, and those are going to go down here, kind of out of the bottom of this cup. And then that is going to go there. So let's go ahead and glue those down. One and the other. And because I'm going to have it kind of resting, actually I'll move this a little bit. I don't want to cover up my sentiment. So I'm going to kind of mess with there we go. Just like that. So what I'm going to need, because it's kind of like a double layer, I'm going to put two pieces of foam, one on top of the other, so that it's level with, like that. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on those two that are going to touch. So there's the poinsettia. And then what you're left with are 3 marshmallows and a little chocolate. So I'm going to tuck that in to my mug. And you can go behind the cream, you can go in front of. I'm going to go in front of, and then I'm going to put one also with the chocolate, one of the marshmallows. And then the other two are kind of just down here by the mug. So let me pick those up, put some glue on them. One here. And one there. All right, so that is pretty much finished. I did use a white gel pen to add some highlights, so that is up to you. I'm going to get this one started. And I just came around the sides of the mug. Do the same here. And then I also did the berries. Just a little detail, you don't have to do that. And then the final detail I added was I have some Sizzix clear glitter here, and I'm going to add some glue just to these lines of the just a little, follow those die cut lines right underneath it, or you can go right on top of it. And then I'm going to add this glue on top. Or not the glue, the glitter. And just a little bit of that, so that card is completed. Okay, our next card is Peace and Joy. So this one has lots of little bits in there. And this little beak. All right, so let's start. We'll go ahead and build up our little cardinal first. So you're going to need his red body, his wing and his tail. This is also a wing piece. You should have this white rectangle. It's like a scrap of paper. And then you're going to need the beak. And I gave you feet. You don't really need the feet, so we're not going to use those. But you'll need the eye, and there's also that black part of his face there too. So let's go ahead and start with this. So the first thing we're going to do is glue this white piece behind the body so we can see it through the eyes and those holes there. So put some glue down, put that behind, and then I'll just trim off the excess. All right. And then his little eye is going to go right in the center there. Let me find my pickup tool. Where is the, did it stick to me? Oh, it's over here. Okay. Then we get that little eye piece. And put that right in the center, like so. Then I'm going to go ahead and put on his beak. Just a little dot of glue. And get his beak on there. All right. And now that little black piece, that you don't need those feet unless you want a different orientation on your card, but I'm just going to pitch those. I don't need those. And then this piece fits right in here where the beak is, and then that the rounding of the eye. Let's see if I can get this close so you get a good look at him. It's going to butt right up like so. Okay. Let me put some glue on the back of that. All right, so our little cardinal, and now let's go ahead and put his wing on. So you have this piece here, you may need to punch out these little chads, and then we're going to glue this to the wing. It just goes right to the top like so. And then I'm going to use a foam square on the back to put his wing on, just like so. And then we're going to glue this little tail to the back of the body. So I'm going to put some glue down here on the bottom portion of it. Just get it where I want it. And there's our little bird. So cute. All right, and then you have 2 white poinsettias, and you have these 2 scraps of red. I think they are light green on the other side if you can't find them. And we're going to glue those to the back so that you can see the red through on the flower centers. And you might need to trim if you can see it. Like on that one I can see a little bit. So just trim that. And then there's that piece. Trim and trim. All right. So now we can, oh, one more thing. You've got your peace and joy, and then you have a black strip. So this black strip is going to go behind the peace and joy. So use my tweezers. And then this is just going to go on the back. All right, so now we can put the card together. So we will start by putting this strip over here. You want to make sure your birds aren't upside down, but I'm going to put it over here on the left side. And then this square is going to go in the center. Now you'll notice there's a little, this is the hole from the paper pad. We're just going to put that on the bottom because it's going to be covered anyway. So go ahead and put that on. Center that on there. And then I'm just going to lay these things out. We have a pine branch behind him. And then we have the flower. Just make sure before I put anything down that I'm kind of happy with placement. I'm going to have one coming out here. There's a little chat in that. And one in here. And these white, nothing is popped up, but these two white flowers are popped up, and the peace and joy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put glue. Let's do these two because I'm pretty confident in where those are. And I'm going to put glue just on the bottom in case I need to tuck anything else. And then I can go in and add more. So I really have him down in the corner. All right, and then let's put this one as kind of, before he dries, under, like so. I'm gonna put some foam squares, just one in the center, so I can tuck those holly leaves and whatever else I want. So let's see. Put one right here. The other kind of is behind, but they're at the same level. And then we have the leaves. And put one, a larger one. Oh, they're both about the same size. The other one in here. All right, and then we have this last pine branch, and I kind of tried to tuck it in like so. So I'm just gonna go in behind. And then for this one, I'm going to put foam on just the two ends. So, whoops, one on this end. And it's gonna go like that. And just right down here. All right. Oops, I got some. That card is finished. Okay, our next card is Christmas Greetings. So we're gonna go ahead and put together some of these florals first, and we have a little fussy cutting to do. So let's see, let's start with this Christmas rose. So we're going to glue that to the solid red piece. So just match it up. That's good. And then you should have this green stem with 3 buds and one with just one. And so what we need to also find is you should have 4. I see 3. What did I do with, there it is. And you should have 4 red buds. Now they may be, let's see what color they are on the other side. They're light green, so if you can't find them, flip them over. And those with the little, it has a little divot at the top, that's going to go at the top. Alright, so there are those. And I think that was it. I'm just going to cut out this. I'm going to cut right up to that oval line, and then we'll put the card together. All right, I've got that fussy cut, so now we are ready to put our card together. So the first thing we're going to do is put the black cardstock onto the white card base. All right. And then we're going to have a piece of red plaid paper. Now it does have a hole in it from our paper pad, but we're going to cover it up here at the bottom. So I'm going to use this as a guide to place that, and this is my trick for doing that. I'm just going to put a piece of Post-it tape on the front. I'll line it up on the back. So now that's taped to it right where I want it. And then I'm going to put glue on the back of the piece I'm taping down only. And then I'm going to line it up so it's centered. You'll have a very thin black border. All right, and then I can peel this piece. I can take that Post-it off. And now it's right where I want it. So for this piece, I'm going to pop up. I popped it up so you can kind of see it. It's kind of like a little window panel. So I'm going to use some foam squares or some foam strips on the back of that. All right, I'm going to put this, got the backing removed. I'm going to put this down. All right. And then the Christmas greetings is going to go in the center, and I just put that down flat. All right, and now we're going to build up our flower. So gonna hang off. I want this one popped up, and because this is already popped up, I'm gonna need 2 pieces of foam on this particular area. And then the part that's here, I'm just gonna put 1. So I'm gonna put this down first, and everything else will go around it. And I kind of like that I can still see some of that, so. All right, so just like so, and then I'm going to start building up the other layers. So you should have 2 large hollies, and those are going to go like so. And then the 2 smaller. one side we just have one pine branch, and on the other side we have two. So and then this piece is also tucked in here. And over here on this side, we're going to put this light green and the single bud. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and then we'll scatter the florals. So I'm going to go ahead and glue some of this down. And then these guys here, I'm going to glue that one right there. Give a little more glue. And then this one right there. I'm going to put glue on the end. I may pop these guys up a little bit, but I'm going to have to cut some foam squares in half to do that. All right, so we're going to finish off with these flowers. So I've got two on one side and one on the other, and I have those on foam as well. So all right, so there's that. And then to dress it up a little bit, I did add some glitter to the red buds and some black prills. Power outage is the color, to the centers of these white flowers. You could certainly add it to the center of the rose too if you wanted. So I'm going to add just a dot of glue in the center of each flower. And well, we'll do the prills first. I think it's best to do that. Oh, I need a spoon here. And let me get out my paper to catch it. I'm just going to spoon that right on top of where I put the glue. And I like to let it sit just for a few seconds for that glue to grab. The glue dries really fast, so that will help grab the centers. All right, so there's the prills. And then lastly, I'm going to add the glue. Oh, this is the one over. I'm like, that's my first card. I'm going to add some glue to these lines on the, just to the sides of these little buds, and add some of that clear glitter. And I think I also did it on these green leaves as well. Okay, so let me get that back out with the glitter. Sprinkle that on there. that card is finished. Okay, our next card is 'Tis the Season. So we have some things we need to put together. So you should have these two light green stems. We don't need, actually, I see some chads that need to be punched out, so I'm going to do that real quick. So these two pine stems we don't need. And there should be 3 that have holly leaves at the end. And we're also going to need this one here with the poinsettia. And then you're going to have 3. They're going to be green on one side and red on the other. Solid roses. And then you're going to have 3 of the white. And these are going to layer on top. And then you have the 2 sets of petals, and those are going to layer on top of this green flower up here. So let's go ahead and get those. Well, let's pick this one up and get those layered. Okay. And these petals have like almost a straight edge. That's the best way to get them lined up. It's kind of tricky, but it's really easiest way to get them lined up. So there's that one. And then these are like one's going one way and one's going the other. So if it doesn't fit on one, it should fit on the other. Right, do this other one. So those are done. Whoops, that fell off. All right. And then these are going to match up on these 3 flowers here. So put some glue down on them. And this one has the flat side on this side. All right, so let's match up these petals. And so this is just kind of like a little puzzle. So we're just gonna lay them on there until they match up, which is just like that. All right, and then the other one. Go just like that. All right, so there's that. And then on this post-it you have, they are gold on one side and white on the other. These are the centers for the flowers. So this larger one is for the poinsettia. Oops. And then there's 2 larger ovals and a smaller. So obviously the smallest one's going to be for the smallest flower, and the other ones are just going to go inside. You know what I think is going to be easiest? Let's put the glue down and then so I'll put the glue in the center first. There's 1, 2, and 3. So there are those. And then one last layering bit is going to be this 'Tis the Season red banner is going to go on top of the gold banner. All right, so those are good, and now we're ready to layer up our card. All right, so let's get this put together. So you do have this green piece with the circle cut out. We use this, I think, on the next card actually, but nobody's gonna see that. We're gonna cover it up. So this piece goes down onto your white card base. Okay, and then we're going to put down the snowflakes. And then it's just going to have an even border on both sides. So I'm going to lay this way so I can try to get it even. All right. And now we have these 2 label die cuts. So we're gonna put the cream onto the gold. It's just gonna get centered on there. And then that piece goes straight down as well. And about a 1/2 inch from the top of the card and centered left to right. And so now we are going to layer up these pieces. So, and one thing I'm going to try to do is to keep my stems. I didn't do a great job here, but I want to try to keep my stems somewhat even. Not exactly even, but I don't want them, and you could certainly trim them if you want, but. So, I have those 2, and I'm just going to put just a little dab of glue to kind of hold them in place. Just in case I want to move them, I'll be able to. All right, and then I have this big holly leaf, and I'm going to kind of tuck it in behind, I think, like so. And you can pop up anything you want, like that might be a fun one to pop up just because it's larger. I'm going to leave it like this for now. I'm not sure if that's where I want it. And then I have these 2 smaller ones. So this one's a little bit shorter. All right. And so I have the poinsettia in the front, and this one is popped up. So I'm going to put some foam on the back. 1 on each leaf as well. And I'm going to go ahead and lay that down because I think I'm pretty happy with everything. So that's going to go right there. And then you've got one that has 2, which is going to go in here. And so like I want that one a little bit higher. Oh, except that it's underneath that foam now. Just carefully move it. And then I can tuck that piece in there and I can still see the holly. And then this piece, I know here I have it there. Let me see. I still like that, but I kind of want it up there. So I'm going to see if I can get it in there. Like so. I'm going to lift this one up as well to get that under that foam. So maybe I should have been sure I had everything where I wanted it before I started using foam. I didn't think about that. Okay. All right, we got it up. Now I can tuck that back in there. All right, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to add some foam to the back of those flowers very carefully. All right, so this one I can still move. I'm going to pull it up a little, and I think I'm going to tuck a foam square behind it just to give it some dimension as well. All right, and all those pieces kind of come together, so I'm going to just come behind and put like a little line of adhesive, and I'm going to kind of pull them all down together and see what lands in that glue. And then our sentiment is also going to hold it down. There's a few more that are not sticking. So I'll just go in and add a little dot, press. We got one more. Hold that for a second. All right, so that's good. So now what I'm going to do is take this "'Tis the Season" and I'm going to put a couple pieces of foam on each end. I'm going to put it in the center so I can just lay it over those stems. They're kind of bulky right there. And then I'm just going to come right in here. Put it even. I'm not going all the way down. You could go all the way down. You could come up further, whatever you're happy with. I'm going to go right in here. All right, and that finishes off that card. All right, our next card, may your days be merry and bright. So let's start. We'll layer up what needs to be layered up. So let's pull out our 2 red poinsettias, and then you should have 1 little gold piece of scrap. And then you're going to need these 4 little pieces of cotton here, and this is the stem that goes with it. And these are the pieces we need to layer. So I'm going to take this stem, it's green on one side, black on the other, and what I'm going to do is just put a little glue on the back, so on the green side of each one of those stems, and then we're going to pick up the cotton. So the stem should go on the outside. This is the easiest way to do it. Oops. So there's no right or wrong way that it goes, just each one fits on there just like that. All right, and then what we're going to do is cut this in half so we have 2 different pieces to work with. So I'm just going to come right here and snip. So now I have that piece and I have that piece. And then on this one we just need to put the gold behind the smaller flower. And we'll need to trim it if it's going to hang off. is we're going to layer the small flower on top. Oops, it slid on me. And then I'm just going to come in and cut away what's showing. All right. So there's that. I'm going to put a piece of foam right on top of that, and I'm just going to try to offset the petals a little. It won't be perfect, so like so. And so now we can put the rest of the card together. So we'll slide this stuff. So I'm going to start with this candy cane stripe paper, a red stripe. And I'm going to glue it to the bottom of my card base. I'm just going to trim off the excess. All right, and now for the floral piece. That is going to go at the top. Just line that up. Oops, that's a little crooked. All right, and then I'm going to run a bead of glue right across the bottom. I'm still learning with this glue gun. Right across the bottom. And then I'm just gonna butt that piece right up to the edge of that floral. Oops, I did not get it straight. It's almost dry. All right. So it's going to look like that. And now we're going to put the May Your Days Be Merry and Bright. I did not pop mine up so that I could pop up some of these flowers. So it's up to you. If you want to, you certainly could. This piece has been glimmered. I used glimmer foil on this piece. It's very pretty. It matches the paper really well, I think. And then we're just going to layer up the images. So I'm going to put the flower here and then tuck everything else in behind. So we have one greenery piece there and a greenery piece coming here. And you have 3 hollies, so 2 of them are going to go up here and 1 of them is going to go on the other side. All right. There. And then the cotton. And I did pop up the cottons as well, so I'm going to tuck those in and then I'll just pop them up. That way they don't get lost in the paper so much. And these, I think I'm going to have to trim this down. It's going to be too long to tuck in there. I'm actually pretty sure that I cut them apart completely. All right, I think I can. I'm going to put one there, and I might have one come right there. Yeah, I like that better because you can actually see one of them. All right. So I'm going to put glue on this. Glue those down. Oops, I moved that one. But I'll tuck it in behind and that glue will pick it up. and then lastly we have a couple little, we have a gold leaf and a couple little light green. So I'm going to tuck this one in here. So, and the little green ones. My arrangement might end up being a little different, and so might yours. Once you start playing around with stuff, you might find you like something different. So that's what I'm going to do on that. So let me put glue on those and tuck them back in. See, I have the green ones down here, but I moved that cotton, so it gives me a new place to put this. All right, so I'm going to go in. I'm going to cut these down to put behind the cotton. So these are hard to grab. All right. All right, and that card is finished. Our next card is Let Heaven and Nature Sing. Let's get all of this out. A little bit of putting together. So you should have this post-it tape with the 6 berries on it. And you're going to be looking for this green branch here. So I'm going to start by putting all of those berries on their branches. And you will have an extra berry, so you can save it and tuck it somewhere else later, or you can pitch it. It's just the way it cuts out. And then we're also going to need to layer up our poinsettias. And you can shape them too if you like to shape your flowers. They have a lot of details, so you wouldn't have to. Same with the pine cones. I have a little McGill mat here and a McGill stylus. I'm going to use the 5mm end, and I'm going to turn them face down on this pad. And because of that, those embossed, they're kind of cut lines, I'm being very gentle so I don't rip my die cut. And I'm just kind of pouncing. And in the center, I'm rolling a little ball, and then I'm going to flip it over and roll a ball on this side. And that'll bring those petals to life. And then I'm going to layer them up by offsetting the petals. So I'm going to put some glue, pick this one up, and offset the petals. Hope I was on camera over there. And sometimes offsetting the petals, maybe I should do it right-handed. That would have been helpful. So there's one, and I will do the smaller set the same way. All right, so those 2 flowers are done, and then if you wanted, you could do the same with your pine cone to kind of give it some more dimension. All right, so that's good for those. Let's put the rest of our card together. So we're going to start with, you should have a white embossed panel here. Put that down on the white card base. All right, I'm going to put this cut apart that says Let Heaven and Nature Sing onto the black cardstock, and I'll have just a small thin black border. Oh, actually I don't think it's cut right. I think I'm going to have to cut this down. So let's see, it's 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, so this needs to be 3 by 4. Nope, yep, it's just a little bit wider than it's supposed to be. I don't know where my guard is for my, here it is, it's falling off. So apologize, you're probably gonna have to do that too. I'm gonna take it off of the side with the bird because it was a little bit thicker, so I'm just gonna cut it to 4, and that should be the fix you need. There we go. And that has a thin border. And then that piece is going to go in the center, and I popped it up. So I'm going to use some foam for that. All right, so that's going to go in the center. I do have it slightly more to the top, towards the top here, just slightly, so that we have room for all of that down there. So it's centered, and then I'm just going to move it up slightly towards the top. All right, and now we are going to build up our layers. So you're going to have both of your, I'm actually going to put foam behind these two pine cones so that they kind of keep their shape a little bit. All right. Those are going to be in here. Now I did add glitter to mine, but I did that at the end. So it's going to look something like that. Should have a couple of these pine leaves. I'm going to put a big one and a little one together right there. I'm going to put those on last. And a long one coming out there. So let's go ahead and get those down. Okay, and then that flower is going to go right there, but we should have, you should have, let's see, how many of these? 6, I thought. Is there one missing? Oh, it's over here. You should have 6 holly leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little dot of glue on the back of that, because that's where I want it. Oh, maybe. And then I'm going to go in, and you're going to have 2 on each side. So a big one, and one's a little bit smaller. So you're going to have a big and a little. So there's one. And now I'm going to grab a little one. Tuck that one in there. I'll do the same thing down here. Alright, I'm pressing so hard on my flower it's losing its shape. Okay, so this, alright, I'm going to pull these out, and I'm going to cover up that bird with the pine cones. If you like the bird, you can leave them in, move your pine cones somewhere else. It's up to you. Do it like that. And then on this piece here, I cut it apart so that I have 2 stems. So I'm going to cut it right here. And this is going to stick out of the top. Like so. And this piece, oh, you know what I did with that extra berry? I remember now. Right there where I cut it off and it's kind of awkward looking, I put the berry right there. And then that piece is going to get tucked in the bottom. Down there. Perfect. So we'll build up this top layer up here. I'm going to start with the flower. And I think this one, actually I'm not going to start with the flower. Use this piece down here. And then the flower. And then we got our holly. All right. So to finish off this card, I added quite a bit of glitter. I went through and added glue to every berry on the cut apart sheet, as well as the red berries from our die cutting. I added glitter to all these little embossed or cut lines on the pine cones. And then I added the prills to the flower centers, which I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to put a dot of glue in each one. And I will scoop in the prills. The same color, the power outage. Gold would be pretty here too. All right. All right, aside from adding the glitter, this card is complete. You could also, if you didn't want to add the glitter, maybe add some snow, like sitting on the pine cone, so like a white glitter or whatever you have to get that effect. But this card is complete. All right, I've got one last card to complete here. Good tidings and cheer. And so we've got that same beautiful white embossed paper. And oops, there, I almost lost it. You have a small black star, so you don't want to lose that. So you could use this as is, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little, I don't know if you can catch that in the light. I'll move it around, we'll see. But there's a little bit of shine to that. And so what I'm going to use is a metallic wax. This is from Art Alchemy, metallic wax and white pearl. So I'm just going to put a little bit out. A little scrap here of paper. Oops, or a lot of it. I didn't mean to put that much out, but that's okay. So put some on a piece of paper, and I'm just going to use my finger. And so I'm going to put some on my finger, and then I'm just going to rub it over lightly to catch those branches. And I'm mostly going to focus on the outside. I don't need to do it all over. What you want to try to avoid is a big glob on your finger. So you want to try to smooth it out and get it smooth. You get too much, then it's going to go down, which is fine. It's still pretty either way. Just a small detail, but it is so pretty, this wax, especially just on white. It'd be pretty on a color as well. All right, so we'll call that good. All right, when I was editing this video, I realized that the camera cut off. I didn't catch the assembly of this last card here. So I took it apart with the magic of some undo, and I'm gonna quickly add in how to put this together. So we rubbed the wax on the outside of that white embossed panel, and then I glued the panel down to the white card base. And you should have a piece of buffalo check paper, and you should have a card panel with the words embossed at the bottom and a tree cut out. So kind of using this, I do have sticky foam on it right now, so I can't really show you how I did it, but I would have held this like so and then got that centered on there so that it shows through for my tree. So I'm going to just kind of place it and then see if I've got it, and that's going to work. So I'm going to push that down so that's glued, and then you're going to want to put foam on the back of that panel, and the backing's removed, and so now I'm going to center that onto the card base. Press that down, and then the finishing touch on that card is going to be that little black star. We're just going to add that at the top of the tree, and that completes that card. And so these are the cards we created with that kit, or with the paper pad. There's one more over here. So if you have any questions, you can contact us. If there are any kits available, they would be found on our website from momentstomilstones.com. Thanks for watching.